Hi everyone, and welcome to a quick tutorial on this teddy bear cake that I made. This is more like a 2D teddy bear cake, and I'm using 8-inch round cakes. So I'm taking my cakes first of all onto my board, and I'm going to try and work out my shapes. This teddy bear was an actual teddy bear from a client of our daughter, and the daughter's now an older daughter, and she wants it replicated as a cake. So I think I end up using 3 8-inch cakes for this piece, and I'm placing them on the board to start with to sort of decide when I'm putting it, because I've had to upscale it. So there was no point in me printing out anything for it. I had to use my eye coordination for it. So I'm placing all my pieces on the board and marking out where I want to put them before I touch any buttercream or any fillings. I wanted to do this to make sure I'm fitting it on the board and that I had enough cake. So it's just a vanilla cake I'm using here. They want it quite plain with buttercream. And it's a cookie buttercream, it's quite nice. So once I've got it all placed out and I like it, I'm going to stick it on my board with some buttercream and add in my filling. And it's got a little bit of jam in it as well. I found this the easiest way to make sure that I had everything in place, and as you guys know, I like to use every piece of the cake that I can, so I had hardly any leftovers. Even the arms, I managed to figure out how to use them by using just the cake that I had. I always think about maybe start using them big flat oblong cakes and cut out with the rings. Maybe, I don't know, that might be easier to do. I'm not sure, but this is the way I've done it today anyway. So once we get it all stuck back on and sort of glued together with our buttercream, I will go ahead and cover my fondant. You could try and cover it in one, but I like to cover it piece by piece really, and this is my second layer going on now, guys. I like to cover it piece by piece, and for dexterity. My hands and that don't seem to be able to cope with holding a whole piece of fondant over the top, so I done piece by piece. So I sort of done the top, head, and then came into the body, etc. But we've all got their own little techniques and uses how to do this. So I'm going to cover the whole thing with my buttercream, and then I do let it set a little while, and then I start to cover it up with the fondant. Voila. That'll tidy up. The customer wasn't sure if she was going to originally want this sitting up or standing or lying flat. Of course, it's a bit cheaper if it's lying flat for people. So here we go, putting some details on. I didn't want my fondant to get too hard, so I started adding some details on round about the seams and around on the nose and the ears. Now, I did have a problem, not a problem, but my colour ended up, I tried to spray paint this teddy and I wasn't getting the colour that I wanted, so I decided to change that, and I made it more into the beige colour that I'd acquired. So if you see it changing sort of in halfway through, you'll know. So I'm just doing some markings to make this jumper look, although it's knitted. And at this point I am putting on some paws, and they're just plain, there's nothing fancy about them. The seams around the sides to show that it's like sewn together. So I'm putting some creases in the arms, and I put some in the body. And here we go with the head with the beige colour now, and as you can see I've changed the hands to that beige colour as well. I mixed the colour myself into the fondant instead of spraying. So I'm just going over my details again and keep marking. Get it the way you want it. Check your photos. And keep covering your fondant. I did use red as well onto the legs for the fondant. The whole body was more like white, but she wanted it a wee bit varnished and used looking, so hence some markings around the neck. But this actual real teddy is a right state, so we sort of found a picture of it looking not so bad, let's say. I'm just putting my other paw on. If you want to learn more about how to do these cakes more in depth, it's best to buy, very cheap at price, full tutorials, and are not speeded up like this. The full tutorials are real time and at the correct speed, and I take you through absolutely everything. So we're just putting on the legs. The trousers, you would say, maybe are coloured with red fondant, then I'm going to add on some white dots. On the body, I hand paint love hearts on instead of sticking on red hearts. I hand painted them all on. So now we're just doing the part it's going to go around the bottom of the jumper, and it's just a long piece of fondant and using a tool to mark it, although it looks knitted again. And then we need some round each wrist and round the neck. Just doing the markings on the fondant, and then we're going to pop it round, a little bit of edible glue or water, and pop it round the neck. But of course, if it's your teddy, you can do whatever design you want for clothes or anything, or doesn't have to wear clothes. It hasn't got a lot of facial features, this teddy. I only used some little bits of fondant on the eyes because the eyes are like closed with little eyelashes sticking out, and a triangle for the nose. And then to cover the board, I just used, she had in one photo, a cover it was sitting on, it was white with black dots, so I decided to use that as the background for the board. He was quite cute. Or she. I think it's she. So we're putting the white dots with a little bit fondant with the little circle cutter and gluing them on to place. And then I do end up hand painting hearts all over the jumper as well, and finishing my board with a white cover with black dots. This is it with a little bow in its here as well. I forgot to show you that bit. So it's quite easy. Nice little sculpt for you maybe to have a go. And this was the finished teddy. So the cover is white with black dots. I've got 2 little hearts there for candle holders, which the client wanted. And there you have it. Finished it off with some white ribbon round about the board.